When I was a kid, I did not want to admit I had ADHD. I had trouble doing homework. I had trouble paying attention in school. My parents told me I had a problem. My teachers told me I had a problem. Doctors, everyone that was an adult told me I had a problem, but I didn't listen. I just kept not doing homework, putting it off until the last minute, getting prescribed medication, not taking it. It wasn't until later in life when I got married to a non-ADHD person that I was like, wow, I have issues. And I want to talk about the 5 things that made me realize I had ADHD and what I've done so far to manage it. These are questions you can ask yourself. First question is, do you have a large pile of mail? I don't know why, but there is a large pile of postage in a visible area of my apartment at all times, my entire life. This mail is mostly unopened. This pile is visible, but not really touched. It just stays there and grows and grows. Sometimes I'll take a letter out if I need to write something down. I'll use the envelope like a notepad, and most of the time I will put that note I wrote in a separate pile next to the mail that is accumulating. I will see both piles and do nothing. And I didn't realize this issue until my wife was like, "Can you get rid of this?" And I was like, "Get rid of what?" And she said, "The giant pile of mail on this table in our living room." And I was like, "That's weird. I don't even know it's there. I don't even notice the giant pile of mail with a supplemental small pile of note mail." My ADHD blinded me to it. It made me selectively blind, but only with mail piles. Question 2. Do you have a rapid change of hobbies? Another ADHD thing I have is I will really get into a hobby. And I mean like really into it. I'll learn everything about it. I will make all the purchases related to it. It will become my personality for a short period of time. Like I was into composting. So the first thing I did is I read all about it, went to the Reddits, and then I bought a $200 composting tub on Amazon, had to assemble it, and then I saved every food scrap, like every scrap. Even a cut off piece of green bean I would hold on to and put it in the composter. I would go out with friends and I'd be like, "Hey, are you going to eat that?" And they're like, "Oh, my banana peel?" And I was like, yeah, give it to me. And then I would take their trash and put it in a portable Ziploc that I carried with me for scrap gatherings. And I live in New York City. It's not even like a composting place. I don't have a farm. I have a balcony with a few plant pots. But those plant pots now have nothing in them because by the time my compost was ready, my ADHD moved on to another hobby. I got into collecting all the Ninja Turtle figures that are behind me, and the Technodrome is off screen, the blimp, all this other stuff. After the Ninja Turtles, I got into Transformers, and then NECA figures. Everything behind me is a symptom of my ADHD. What's funny is these hobbies, they didn't become fulfilling. I didn't really care about them. All they did for me was credit card debt. The one benefit to this is when I'm at a party and I find out somebody's hobby, I can talk to them for hours. I'm like, "Oh, what are you into? Coin collecting? Yeah, I was into that 40 hobbies ago. What do you think about the Buffalo nickel?" I could basically walk at every party and talk to anybody because I've done it all. I have the credit card statements to prove it. The third question, what you got to ask yourself is, are you uncomfortable with silence and doing nothing? This is the one that really surprised me because I thought everyone wasn't comfortable with silence and doing nothing. Again, until I met my wife, I thought that was the standard. My wife would go to the bathroom and not bring her phone. That blew my mind. The first time this happened, I knocked on her door and I was like, "Hey, you forgot your phone." And she was like, "Get out of here." And that's when I realized some people are okay without the noise and distractions. Not only do I need to look at my phone in the bathroom, I need to look at my phone in the hallway walking to the bathroom. On the walk to the bathroom, I need short form videos. My short form videos are like an opening act for the long form video I'll be watching while I'm in there. In the car too, I need a podcast. I need to circulate through the songs that I've listened to a million times since I discovered music, my driving comfort songs. I need to play the song that's in my head 10 times. I can't just sit in the car and focus on the road. Even before the iPhone, I would need music as a kid, oldie stations my parents would play. My parents would play Howard Stern just so some sounds were happening. They even eventually got a minivan that had a pull-down screen that would play VHS tapes. So every time I had to go to school or get picked up from school, I would just watch Ace Ventura over and over again. I still know it by heart. I could write the script right now. That's been the standard for my whole life. I once had to fly on a plane that didn't have TVs in the chair and no Wi-Fi, and I had to sit in silence and no stimulation for 3 hours, and it felt like I was in a Vietnamese prison camp. I would have instantly cracked. I would have been like, yeah, I'll read any propaganda you give me. Just get me a screen, please. The fourth question you got to ask yourself is, do I have a messy car? A sign of ADHD is a car that is a disaster. My car has wrappers, soda cans, loose fries. One time, this is a true story, somebody broke in my car, and when I called the police, they thought a homeless person broke in and slept in it. They said there's a vagrant in this neighborhood that's been breaking into cars to sleep in them and use substances in them. We think it might be that guy. And I had to look at the police and say, that's my trash. I'm sorry, I have ADHD. I don't see this mess. A diagnosis for ADHD should just be that police report where they thought a vagrant was sleeping in my Honda Accord and using it as a living space. My wife's car, spotless. When she leaves any car, including mine, she takes the trash that she made with her. That blew my mind. Because before that, I would just wait for the trash to pile up, and then I pulled next to a public trash can once a month or once every 2 months and empty out the car for 20 minutes. That's my routine. Just wait for the mess to pile up to a complete disaster. The last thing you got to ask yourself is, have you ever been able to return an online purchase? Being able to return an online purchase for anything I bought online has been an impossible task since the internet was invented. When I find out I got the wrong thing, I look at the steps and I can't do it. I request a full refund, and when that's denied, I'm just like, I guess this is my thing now. This is my woman's sweater. Like the idea of having to, one, print out a mailing label after opening an email, and then leaving my house. You might as well just be asking me to scale Mount Everest. You know, when I get something broken or the wrong item, I just hold on to it until I have to move. And then, you know, I guess I'm like, I don't really need this box of Tampax. I'll throw it away. I thought everyone was unable to do this until I met my wife, and she got the wrong item, and the next day it was out of our house. I was like, did you throw that away? And she's like, no, I returned it. I was like, huh? I looked at her like she said that she could fly, like she had a superpower. I was like, did you just defy physics? Like, doesn't make sense to me. Are you from Krypton or something? Like, I was blown away. I've only returned items at the store because that to me is like one task. I'm at the store anyway, having to buy the thing I actually wanted. So I might as well wait in a different line if the line isn't that big. Other than that, no. Amazon, never. But I've been working on it. I think the first step to working on your ADHD is admitting you have a problem. And I think a lot of these questions will make you realize that. I am working on it. I am not taking medication for it. But after knowing that I do not have to live this way for the first time in my life, I actively try to live better. And my advice to you is, if you're struggling, do the small steps when you need to do them. That's basically what I've been trying to do. Like, get it out of your head that it's normal to wait until there's a big pile of mail, a big pile of trash, a super urgent deadline, anything like that, before you have to do anything about it. You can take care of a problem when it happens. You don't have to wait until your vehicle looks like a squatter lives there. You can take the small amount of trash that you put in your car out when you make your first stop. It's doable, everybody. You can take the McDonald's bag and throw it into the nearest trash can as soon as you leave. There's always a trash can everywhere. I feel like the most important thing with these questions and the most important step in fixing the problem is just asking yourself, why? Why do I need distractions? Why do I need a messy car? Why do I need a big pile of mail, unreturned items, etc.? Ask yourself this, because the obvious answer is you don't. You don't need any of that, and you shouldn't want that. And sorry, I sounded like Seinfeld. You shouldn't want any of that stuff in your life, and you shouldn't want to behave like that. So you got to take the steps, work on the small things, try to get it in your routine. It's kind of like there's like I was a criminal justice major, and there's like the broken windows theory, which means if a neighborhood has a bunch of broken windows, then there's going to be more broken windows. But if a neighborhood has 0 broken windows, people are less inclined to throw rocks at the windows because they're like, subconsciously or consciously, they're like, I don't want to be the first one to trash this place. And the people in the neighborhood take better care of it. So that's I feel like is like handling your ADHD without medication will be like. Tackle the little things, get it in your routine. Once your house is clean, once your car is clean, it's going to be harder to trash it. So good luck, everybody. I can keep thinking of questions. If you have a question of your own, comment it below. And good luck fixing your life.